We're all taught to be careful, right? Don't take unnecessary risks. Look before you leap. Better safe than sorry. But what if I told you that playing it safe might actually be the riskiest move of all? That the real danger isn't taking action, but in doing nothing. I'm Jack Trama, and this is the Decisive Move Podcast, where we dig into what's actually happening in those big decision moments. I started out helping people make big business decisions, whether they were buying, selling, or growing their companies. And what I noticed was that for any deal to work, both sides needed to feel clear, confident, and decisive. That experience showed me what really lit me up, and those were the moments that someone moves from doubt to decision. Now I help businesses that have virtual sales processes in helping their clients gain the clarity they need to move forward with confidence. And speaking of business decisions, if you run a company that operates virtually, selling your services through calls or online meetings without ever meeting in person, then you know firsthand that building trust is everything. And what many people don't realize is that hesitation doesn't diminish after a call ends. It grows. Those unvoiced concerns become magnified, and potential clients simply disappear. And no one wins in that scenario. The Decision Accelerator system is the first solution specifically designed for this critical gap. It provides clarity exactly when someone is weighing their decision. And it works alongside your own team, addressing those unspoken hesitations that traditional follow-up just can't reach. Learn more at decisivemove.com/system. Now let's talk about the true cost of playing it safe. Every week, I work with people facing important decisions, and I've seen how folks often wait months or even years before taking action on something that can change everything for them. And through all these conversations, I've noticed one truth over and over again, and that's the difference between getting stuck and moving forward comes down to making that decisive move when it matters the most. There's this story that I love about a guy named Sam who worked at a company for 12 years. He was really good at his job. He was reliable, he was consistent, and he never rocked the boat. The definition of playing it safe is what he was. And for Sam, he had this idea of starting his own business. He knew the industry in and out. He had connections. He even had potential clients that were ready to go. But every time he thought about making the leap, he would think to himself, I've got a good thing here, a steady paycheck, benefits, why risk it? So he stayed and stayed and stayed. And then one day the company went through restructuring. And just like that, Sam was let go. No warning, no safety net. All those years of playing it safe, he had ended up in the same exact situation he was trying to avoid. But here's the kicker. When Sam calculated what he missed out on by not starting his business all those years ago, the numbers were staggering. Based on the success of similar businesses in his field, he'd likely have given up millions in potential earnings, not to mention the freedom, the fulfillment, and everything else that he would have enjoyed that would have come with that. The safe choice actually had been the most expensive one he could have made. I see this pattern everywhere. People choosing what feels safe in that moment without recognizing the massive hidden costs that come with it. Because here's the truth. Every time you choose not to act, you're still making a choice. And that choice has consequences just as real as any action that you would take. So let's break down some of the real costs of playing it safe. First, there's the obvious one. There's an opportunity cost. Every no is a yes to something else. So every time you choose not to pursue an opportunity, you're automatically choosing whatever your current reality is instead. So when you decide not to take that chance or start that business or have that conversation or even make that move, you're not just avoiding risk, you're actively choosing to give up everything that that opportunity might have brought you. I remember working with someone who had the chance to partner on a new venture, and the numbers looked really good. The concept was quite solid, but they decided it was too risky and they stayed in their comfortable zone, which was an unfulfilling job. 2 years later, that business was thriving and their potential partner had found someone else and they were doing exactly what they had envisioned and making a significant impact and income doing it. So the safe choice cost them millions, not to mention the joy and the purpose that might have come with building something meaningful. The second hidden cost is growth. We only grow when we're challenged. So when we step outside of our comfort zones, when we try things that we've never done before, playing it safe means choosing comfort over growth. And while that might feel good in the moment, it leads to stagnation over time. And I've seen this with people in relationships who avoid difficult conversations because they're keeping the peace. I've seen it with professionals who stick with the skills that they've already mastered rather than learning new ones. I've seen it with parents who choose the familiar parenting approach even when it's not working. Safe choices stunt our growth. And then the cost of that is something we can't put our finger on sometimes. The third cost is regret. There's fascinating research on deathbed regrets. And you want to know what people do regret? Almost universally are the chances that they didn't take, dreams that they didn't pursue, the conversations that they never had, the what ifs that will forever remain unanswered. I had a conversation with someone who was in his 70s, who told me his biggest regret wasn't any mistake that he had made. It was not telling the woman he loved how he felt about her for 40 years. That safe choice meant decades of wondering what might have been. Playing it safe might seem like the way to avoid regret, but often enough, it's actually guaranteeing it. And the fourth cost is resilience. Every time you take a chance and survive, which is almost always, you build resilience. You prove to yourself that you can handle challenges, you can handle setbacks and uncertainty. But when you constantly play it safe, you're not building those resilience muscles. In fact, you're training your brain to see the unknown as more and more threatening. It's like never using a muscle. It will atrophy. The less you confront uncertainty, the less capable you become of handling it. And I've worked with people who have avoided making necessary changes because they seemed too risky. And with each passing year, those changes became even more daunting, not less. So the longer they waited, the harder it became to take action at all. Playing safe was actually making them less capable of navigating an ever-changing world. The fifth, and perhaps the most significant cost, is the compounding effect that decisions have over time. The decision to play it safe just once might not have a huge impact. But that same decision, made day after day, year after year, it creates a life defined by its limitations rather than its possibilities. Think about someone who chooses not to invest because it seems risky. The difference between investing and keeping money in a low interest account might seem small in any given year, but over decades, that safe choice could easily cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars or even millions. The same principle applies to every area of our lives. The small daily choice to stay comfortable rather than stretching ourselves compounds over time, and it creates a gap between the life that you could have and the one that you settled for. Now, I'm not saying that you should take reckless risks. There's a big difference between calculated risk-taking and jumping in blindly into the abyss. Smart risk-taking means understanding what you're getting yourself into, having a contingency plan, and starting small when possible. Learn from others who have gone before you. It means just weighing not just the potential downsides of action, but also the very costs of inaction. all those hidden expenses that come with playing it safe. So what does all of this mean for you? Start asking yourself, where in my life am I choosing what feels safe? But what might actually be costing me more than I realize? Is it your career, where you're staying in a job that's beneath your capabilities? Is it in a relationship where you're avoiding an important conversation? Is it in your business where you're sticking with what's working rather than pursuing what could be extraordinary? Have you been telling yourself you'll start that business someday, or that you'll learn that valuable skill when the time is right, or that you'll make that important decision once you're prepared? Then calculate the real cost of doing what's safe, not just in dollars, but in growth, fulfillment, and possibility. The most successful people, whether in business, relationships, or personal development, aren't the ones who avoid risk. They're the ones who understand that sometimes playing it safe is the riskiest move of all. And they recognize that comfort is the enemy of growth, that security often comes from building your ability to handle insecurity, not from avoiding it. And they also know that the path to an extraordinary life isn't paved with safe choices. It's created through decisive moves in the direction of your dreams, even when those moves feel anything but safe. So the next time you find yourself choosing the safe option just because it's comfortable, ask yourself, what choice might that really cost you? Because chances are playing it safe is far more expensive than you really think. And one last thing before you go. If you help buyers make important decisions virtually, you know how even your best prospects can hesitate without saying why. The Decision Accelerator system gives them the clarity that they need at those critical moments without pressure of sales tactics. Check it out at decisivemove.com/system. Thank you so much for listening to the Decisive Move Podcast. If you're ready to stop paying the hidden costs of playing it safe, hit that follow button, because next week we're diving into, if you're not making moves, you're actually falling behind. Bye for now.